What's up? How you guys doing? So tonight I'm making us homemade chicken tenders. I've taken some chicken breasts, I've sliced them up, I've marinated them. I'm gonna fry them to a golden brown perfection. They're gonna be juicy, tender, and full of flavor. But to go along with it, we're gonna have some buttermilk ranch sauce. So I'm gonna show you guys the first steps to making the ranch. On to the creamy buttermilk ranch sauce. I have my Mr. Pineapple for myself. I have my seasoning. I have my garlic and shallots, scallions, apple cider vinegar. I have hot sauce and Worcestershire sauce, or however you say it, mayo, sour cream, and buttermilk. So the first step, I'm gonna throw my sour cream into my bowl. Now, I like to tell people when you're making something, a sauce, cake, anything, you want to make sure that you have ample room in your bowl. And make sure you mise en place. So now I have my sour cream. I'm going to do the whole container of sour cream because I want to have some leftovers, because the longer your ranch sits, the better in flavor it gets. So I put all 16 ounces of sour cream. So now I'm going to add the mayo. I don't really like to make it too mayo-y because then your sauce tastes like mayo. So I'm going to put half of a container of 12 ounces, so it's going to be 16 ounces into the bowl. I'm going to dump in all the garlic and shallots. I'm going to dump in my 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I have 1 tablespoon of hot sauce, 1 tablespoon of that word, Worcestershire. Yeah, I think I'm going to get good at it by the time I finish this video. I'm going to dump in all my scallions, never skimp on the flavor, and all my secret seasoning, throw it right in the bowl. So now I'm going to move over to my whisk. I want to make sure I get everything well incorporated and mixed up before I add in the buttermilk, because I'll just have one big slop of a mess all over the kitchen and I don't want that. So now I'm going to add in all this wonderful buttermilk sauce. I mean, not sauce, it's not a sauce yet, buttermilk. When you use buttermilk, please make sure you mix it up, because if you don't incorporate your buttermilk, then you'll end up with fat on the bottom, water on top. I like to use the full flavor buttermilk. I figure if I'm going to eat ranch, might as well. We're not going to count calories until Monday. Monday through Friday, I count calories. On the weekends, it's free for all. I love it. If kids weren't eating this, I would add in my Mr. Pineapple. But this is going to be a non-alcoholic ranch sauce tonight. So this is your ranch sauce. This is one of my favorite salad dressings to make. You want to know why? Because it's easy, it's quick, not that much chopping, not that much mise en place. You can do this at the top of your head. So now I'm going to try it. I forgot my tasting spoon. It's excellent. Now it's on to my homemade fried chicken strips. I have my chicken breast that I've hand sliced myself into little strips. I have my seasoning, I have hot sauce, and I have buttermilk. So now, the first thing I'm going to do is add in my seasoning. This is nothing but just a basic seasoning. I have red chili flakes. I can't talk tonight. I have onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, dried mustard, some cumin, some oregano, things that I think would personally taste good. Now, I'm going to add the hot sauce. Now remember, I put in some chili flakes, so add the hot sauce in based on your preference. I like to give it a few little shakes until I can't shake anymore and it looks really red. Okay, I'm done. Now, onto the buttermilk. Like I said in the early beginning video, you want to make sure you shake up your buttermilk because you do not want the separation. I think it's good. Ooh, buttermilk everywhere. I'm going to add the buttermilk just until it covers. That's enough. I don't want all the little chicken juice all over my hands, so I'm going to use my happy tongs that I got for Christmas from my mom. I appreciate it. Don't get them hot because the plastic will burn your hand if you have these ones. I do it until it's nice incorporated, until the buttermilk takes on the color of the seasoning and it becomes like a reddish, pinkish looking sausage with the chicken strips, you want to make sure when you fry it, make sure your fryer is at 350 so your oil's hot, your chicken strip is not soggy. Make sure you season your flour. I cannot talk because in the words of Emerald Lagasse, I don't know where you get your flour from, but mine doesn't come seasoned. So make sure you season it. Don't over salt it because you have the salt in your meat. So make sure you taste it. Just keep the ratio, keep the balance. I like to add cornstarch to when I fry stuff because it makes it crispier. Let's say about a quarter of a cup of cornstarch to your fry mix. When you do it, make sure you keep one hand dry, one hand wet, and make sure you have everything set up for when you fry because chicken strips roughly you're gonna fry in about 7 to 8 minutes. Make sure you have a timer or you're looking at the clock because you don't want brown or burnt chicken strips. You want the golden color and you want it to still be juicy. You want it to be tender. You want it to be a list of things. So I'm gonna let it sit, chill out for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna fry them up and I'm going to the next step. What I like to think is the most important step, the dredging. I have cornstarch and flour. It's about 3 cups of flour, quarter cup cornstarch. I have my spice blend, which was on the chicken. I'm gonna dump that in there. Mix this all around. Make sure that it's evenly distributed in the flour and cornstarch. I got the smallest spoon that I have in my drawer, so it's gonna take me a second or two. I'm making a mess. Alright, so now we got the flour all mixed up with the seasonings. Now I'm going to take a few pieces of chicken and I'm going to drop it in my flour. When I cut the chicken breast, it wasn't much of a science. Just cut the chicken breast in half, cut it in strips, put it in a bowl, I washed it, seasoned it. Wasn't much to it. Sorry. Take a few pieces. I don't want to overcrowd my flour mixture because what tends to happen, it gets all wet and then you lose a lot of flour and then you're wasting a lot, you're having to start all over and it's frustrating. When you're trying to bread something, you want to make sure that your fryer is nice and hot. Make sure you have a few bubbles on the bottom is a good indication. You can throw a little flour in there. If it floats back up, you're good to go. You can put a wooden spoon in there. If there's bubbles around it, it's good to go. Remember I said you want your temperature at 350 or you want to keep it between medium high. You just want to gauge, you want to listen to the oil. When you start hearing the nice subtle pops and it's not roaring and it's not all crazy, you're good to go. And then if you don't hear nothing, it's not ready. You do not want to put anything, I repeat, anything in cold oil. What happens, it gets soggy, it gets oily. By the time the temperature pops back up, then it's like virtually unedible. Nobody wants to eat any oily, soggy piece of chicken. These are tongue twisters tonight. So now I'm going to lightly flour it, shake a little off, do a little dance, throw it in the fryer. You hear it, you hear it, you hear it. You wait a minute. You don't want to put the next piece in right away because like I said, your oil temperature drops. Then you end up with this thing called salt. And nobody wants to eat soggy chicken. So now, on to piece number 2. The biggest step is too, you don't want to overcrowd your oil. I know you may have a lot of chicken. You may not, have such a big space to cook it in. Or you may, but you don't want to overcrowd it. That's the last thing you want to do because the temperature drops. And you get soggy chicken again. So I'm probably going to put in about 4 or 5 pieces. Something that's manageable, something that's not going to drop the temperature. You can increase it just a hair if you want. Just like I said, don't leave your stove. Keep your eye on it and you'll be good to go. I'm finally finished with my wonderful, crispy, golden brown, juicy, succulent fried chicken strips. I have the homemade ranch. It's nice and creamy, full of flavor. It had time to sit in the fridge while I finished the chicken strips. I have my nice crispy chicken strips that I can't wait myself to eat and to enjoy. I'll see you guys next time.